Over the past couple years, we've slowly started to get out and explore more and more regions of Saskatchewan and try to take in as many of the incredible hunting and fishing opportunities as possible within that province. And I'll admit, the more time I spend there, the more I love it. As a proud Albertan, I can't help but appreciate how the province of Saskatchewan has managed their wildlife and fisheries and created some of the best hunting and fishing to be had anywhere in the world. We've been fortunate to chase whitetail in a few different parts of the province in the past, and the truth is, the entire northern region of Saskatchewan is filled with great deer and plentiful opportunities. This past December, we lined up a hunt with Lance and Emily Robinson of Safari River Outfitters and made the trip north to spend a week in the forest chasing big old heavy bush bucks with our bows. Immediately after arriving in camp, our guide Ashton wasted no time showing us the deer we were after, and we couldn't wait to get into the blind the next morning.
We haven't even been able to do any bit of a talk. Like, from the minute they dropped us off, we've had deer everywhere. And here comes another one. We've probably seen a dozen deer already, including one pretty decent buck. Younger, I want to say he's 3 years old. Pretty heavy. 9-point with some blades on him. He's going to be a good deer one day. But it's always exciting. First day in the stand, got the bow set up. We're in a beautiful location, slided quite a ways back into the bush. And we're going to settle in. There's 2 really good bucks in here that we're after, so fingers crossed that one of them steps out. I think today or tomorrow, just based on the covert trail camera pictures, they're in here quite often. So, and this time of year, they're slowing down and the rut's winding down. They're coming back home. So I think if we're patient, put in our time, hunt hard, we'll have a pretty good week. We're gonna try and kill 2 bucks in the next couple days here. So first time hunting with Lance and the crew at Safari River Outfitters, but we're quite excited. First time actually for Shay ever hunting deer in Saskatchewan, so we got him behind the camera today, and we're gonna try and shoot a deer in the next couple days, and then we're gonna get him one. So it's always an exciting way to extend our season. Had a great year in Alberta, and looking to finish it off strong in Saskatchewan here.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Covert Scouting Cameras, Vortex Optics, Old Smokes Coffee, Top Notch Taxidermy Studio, and the MD of Bonnyville.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Deluxe Wall Tents, built in Canada for Canadian conditions.
From the moment Ashton dropped us off, we were covered up with deer. We had bucks cruising in and out, and honestly had trouble keeping track of them. There were 2 target bucks at this spot that we were looking for, and it felt like either one of them could step out at any moment. This has always been one of my favorite parts about hunting in Saskatchewan. I'm a very patient hunter, and if I know that a specific deer has been there and is likely to come back, I have no problem sitting the entire month if I have to. But with so many good bucks running around the woods, that's often not necessary in Saskatchewan.
So Ashton and Henry just dropped us off. They kind of waited for us to get set. We're probably not even supposed to have the lights on right now, but last time they dropped us off and there was deer immediately. We were covered up in deer yesterday, and Ashton checked the covert trail camera, and there was the buck that we were after was here that night. So we didn't see him yesterday. I don't know, he never told us if he came in last night at all, but we're here again today. There's 2 really good bucks in here. The one that we're primarily after, we call him the acorn buck. He's got a cool blade on his G2, and then his G3, I want to say, has a cool little acorn on it, and he's an ancient old buck. You can just tell by the trail camera pictures of him. So that's the one we're in here after, and there's also another big, tall, tight 10-pointer. They're both beautiful, big, mature bush bucks. So I got the bow loaded. We're gonna kind of get tucked in. Yesterday we had deer all over the place, so we're gonna get settled. We have a mess in here already. It seems like when we get in here, everything just explodes, and we've got camera gear and lenses and junk everywhere. But we're settling in for day 2, and with any luck, maybe this will be the one.
A little bit colder today.
It's cold, and we're supposed to get some snow, so fingers crossed. Let's get tucked in.
We watched close to a dozen bucks the first day in the blind, with no sighting of the ones we were after. Heading back in there for day 2, a storm was blowing in, and I really liked our chances as the weather hopefully got them on their feet during the day.
Hold on, I can see him. He's slowing down. Just wait, just stay on. I know. Just.
Oh, I smoked him.
He's going down.
You smoked him.
He's down right there, dude. He's fucking. Hold on. Dude. We got him. We freaking got him. He's laying dead like 80 yards out there, dude. It is so deathly calm in here right now. And he come busting in the back like he owned the place. The deer in the area, they scattered. And then he popped out on the edge and he looked and he didn't like something. And he was stomping and he was throwing a fit. And so he eventually turned and bolted. And I could see him going around trying to get our wind. And then he eventually came back and he worked his way into the side. He just come charging in. The first time he was like super scared and slow, and this time he just charged right in. I was like, holy crap, but I was ready. And this time when he came to the edge, as soon as he stepped out, I wasn't going to let it happen again. I knew he was going to see me as soon as I pulled back. I just ripped it back, got to full draw. And he gave me some time, and I wanted to make sure. And I watched that arrow sail right into his front shoulder, stick through both sides, and he peeled out of there. And I watched him tip over like 80 yards away, dude.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Wood Wheaton Super Center. True Fire Releases. Victory Archery. Black Widow Innovations. Wapiti River Outdoors. And Federal Premium Ammunition.
This segment of the show is brought to you by the MD of Bonnyville. Lake adventures happen here.
But as he spun, he must have smashed his the arrow sticking out on the tree, broke it, and both pieces fell right there. So look at that.
Oh, look at that. Would you know that?
How convenient. We were pretty much covered up on deer all day again today. See what he looks like. Yeah, shot right through the front shoulder. He didn't like it. Dark chocolate antlers. And the beams, I love the way they sweep in like that. And this is right here is why we call them the acorn buck. On his 1G3, cool little swollen up point. And he's got the cool blade on his G2. And I don't know if that might have been a little bit of a point, but he broke it off. Dark antlers, dark brows, and then this beam sweeps up. I just remember sitting, because he would try to come in a few times, and I got a lot of side profile of him and really liked the way he looked. And that's a cool deer. That's exactly what you come to Saskatchewan to try and get onto. This deer lives way back in the bush. Likely he's never seen a human before other than these boys in here. And he definitely wasn't dumb. He knew what was going on. He didn't want to be there. But we eventually sat it out and he showed himself. Yeah. I knew I wasn't gonna have a good opportunity. Like it was so deathly quiet. Every time I would try to move, never mind try to pull my bow back, he would be on super high alert. And so finally when he came in, I had one opportunity and I just ripped my bow back and he heard it. I knew he was going to, and thankfully he stayed there and gave me enough time to settle in and made a really good shot. Sent a PX2 right through him and he made it 80 yards, 100 yards. Watched him tip over from the blind, and that's definitely a really cool Saskatchewan archery whitetail.
Super dark.
Really thankful for that. Big old body on him, swollen neck. Like even in the trail camera pictures, you can see he's just got a big old body. He's the kind of deer that you come to Saskatchewan to try to get an opportunity at. And this is our second day in the blind, and I've never seen, out of the 3 places that I've been in Saskatchewan, this is definitely the most activity I've seen every day. And as far as like younger bucks, up and comers, there was just a lot of really good quality deer working their way up. And I mean, your guys' program that you have going clearly works. And in a few more years, there's gonna be some studs kicking around, so.
It's day 3 here in Saskatchewan. Dana luckily got it done on day 2. Shot a nice 5x5, called the acorn buck. Got some good definition, nice old Saskatchewan deer. And Ashton's got us in on a new blind setup. And we have a really tall, I think it's 5x5, super screamer high. It looks good on camera, so we're thinking he's probably going to look pretty good in actual person. These deer just seem to show up, and we've been buried in deer since day 1, so let's hope day 3 goes the same, and maybe even give this guy a good old poke with the Matthews and let the PX2 do the work. So we're going to settle in, shut up, probably get all of our snacks organized, because yesterday was one of those shows, you know.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Mad Ramps, Scree Gear, High Mountain Seasonings, Block Targets, iHunter, Glendale Targets, and Deluxe Wall Tents. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Tourism Saskatchewan.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Wood Wheaton Supercenter, a proud supporter of our outdoor heritage.
We had just climbed into the blind on the third morning of our hunt when we looked up, and the first deer of the day was one of the 2 target bucks that we were hoping to get a look at. He was a gorgeous typical 5x5 and a deer that we would kill 9 times out of 10 without hesitation. However, we were only on day 3 of our hunt and the day was still young, so we decided to gamble and waited out in hopes of the other buck making an appearance. With a ton of activity in front of us all morning, it was only a few hours later when I glanced up and spotted the unmistakable frame of the other buck making his way through the brush. As soon as he stepped out, it was clear to see that he was the boss in this area. His body was massive, and he was a much older deer than the one earlier. When he finally moved closer and presented Shay with a shot, the decision was quite easy.
I'm pretty sure that went right where it needed to go. What am I, 32? I don't know. I'd have to ask my wife. But since I was 12, I've been chasing deer with this bow. 20 years, and I have never got to shoot a buck that I wanted to of a super cool caliber. And I'm pretty sure I just drove him.
You don't have to whisper anymore.
Is he dead?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god. I could be more ecstatic. Saskatchewan whitetail buck. Drilled him. That PX2 hammered him. Low third shot. No ducks. Oh.
Yes,
Ice
dude.
cold, but I'm warm now.
Oh, he's right there, bro. He's right there.
Oh, yeah.
He's tucked underneath of a tree. Didn't even go 20, I don't think. Holy. Holy, gotta be at least 6 almost. He must be pretty. Well, here he is. Just behind the shoulder. Nice and low. Wow. Magnificent Saskatchewan deer. This stand, wow, we've seen so many deer. We've seen the first deer, and he was probably a 150-inch deer. And we knew we had this guy on trail camera on the covert, so we had to wait it out just to see what he looked like. He stepped out, and we were thinking we should have shot the other one, but the more we looked at this guy, he's older, he's darker, he's a little bit heavier, way more mature, and that's gonna leave that other guy for another happy client at Safari River. He was an amazing deer this year, and he was only 5 or 6, so he's gonna be beautiful. But first bow buck, couldn't be any more happier. Didn't have to chase him too far at all.
Our hunt with Safari River Outfitters far exceeded our expectations, and the abundance of quality bucks in the area was something I had never expected. But what made this hunt so memorable was the friendship we built with Lance and Emily and the entire team. Without a doubt, they operate in one of the best areas of Saskatchewan to consistently produce giant bucks, and with a strict management policy in place, it's easy to see why they're so successful. They are 2 of the friendliest people I've ever met, and you're guaranteed to leave as friends and not just clients.